And I don't know, it starts at like 10 seconds late. Anyways, hello. Here to talk about my paper on cyberbullying. It's pretty interesting to research. Definitely some sad examples I brought up. So, um, I did mine on cyberbullying. Just yeah, what I could show you right now, which is pretty interesting, way more interesting than just walls of text or some graphs that I found. So this one's from the Cyberbullying Research Center at cyberbullying.org. Anyways, so actually wait, before that, my bad. COVID. Yeah. So according to one of the sources, Mohammed Aladeh, the COVID-19 pandemic appears to have increased the issue of cyberbullying, as strong evidence shows that increased social media use during this period influenced its impact on adolescents. The research also highlights specific demographics that are disproportionately affected, suggesting that girls tend to suffer more from cyberbullying than boys. Or maybe they report it more. But going back to the pandemic, during the pandemic, many more people began using the internet for many reasons, including social ones. So it makes sense that cyberbullying increased if the number of people online increased. This is well presented in a very informative chart from the Cyberbullying Research Center. So I was kind of thinking of the correlation, and luckily I found two sources to back it up. I was like, I bet you so many more people started getting cyberbullied after COVID because everyone was just online, you know? Then so you can see here, it's like the percent. Also, they ripped this info from schools. So May 2007. Oh, I don't know, like 18%. Yeah, I get cyberbullied. Then in 2009, it goes up to 21, and then 24, and then I don't know what happened in November 2009, but everyone was getting bullied there. And then 2010, it looks like everyone calmed down. Then it slowly starts to rise, and then after 2019, you see we jump 2 years to April 2021 after COVID. It spikes up to almost half of the people. And now, in May 2023, 2 years ago, it's over half of the people. So this made sense to me. I said, yeah, it might just be because, there's more people online now than in, 2007. But I feel like it was interesting just to see. All right, anyways, next graph is this one's from Social Media Victims Law Center. I think it's like a law firm. I'm not sure, or it's like a group of law firms that run that website. But anyways, it's mainly about the legal stuff. And they're like, oh, so what like constitutes cyberbullying and stuff? It could be like being left out of a group chat. It could be, just regular harassing. Or the cyber stalking thing, which is pretty weird. And then they bring up some words that I didn't see before, so I had to look it up. There's like outing. I mean, we know what outing is, just like, like sharing someone else's personal business or, just yeah. Anyways, and then frapping, or I think it's pronounced fraping. I looked it up, and it was like blah 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 blah. Shows of some tactics that are lesser known, such as f-raping or denigration. Fraping is a crude combination of the word Facebook and raping, and refers to gaining access to another person's account and altering profiles or posting on their behalf, with varying intentions, but most being malicious and defamatory. So I feel like that's definitely like an old term. I think everyone here would just call it like hacking. But like then again, I think it is a term I guess we could use because like hacking, like, oh, my account got hacked. They just, I don't know, deleted everything, or they turned me into like an advertising stupid account. But it seems like the fraping is just not hacking to like take down your account, but just to make you look terrible. And so I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I think we all know what trolling is, and then dissing, and then flaming, I guess kind of like roasting, and then denigration. I was like, what does this word mean? So I looked at, oh no. Oh no. Oh, we're back. Anyways, denigration refers to an unfair criticism, slander, or belittling an individual. So I was like, oh, it's like unfair criticism, like just, or like pointing out every single small bad thing you do. So pretty much just harassment also. And then we know, impersonation, pretending to be someone. I see that happen on Instagram a lot. people just start getting clone accounts made of them, and they're like, guys, can you please report this account? And I'm like, yeah, man. Then trickery, like scamming, that is illegal. Fake profiles and catfishing, possibly using someone else's face. What if someone's being catfished right now with your face? Pretty concerning. And then here's probably the worst graph ever. Not like displayed weird, it's just like pretty disturbing. This is from May 4th, 2002. My bad, 2022. And from the Pew Research Center. They say percent of United States teens who say they have ever experienced blank when online or on their cell phone. And it's like at least one type of cyberbullying. As we could see, 46%. That lines up with the this graph from April 2021, where it's almost 46%. So I'm like, oh, this might be a trustworthy source. Anyways, then so offensive name calling, 32%. I feel like it should be 90%, but some people just don't mind if they just get called a stupid name, cause who cares? And then spreading of false rumors about them. This one really sucks. I see some people I know still do it. And I'm like, man, we're not in middle school. Why are you guys still like gossiping? Why so much chisme? And then receiving explicit images they didn't ask for, which is never good. But 17% of the teenagers have unwillingly seen that stuff. That's pretty bad. Constantly being asked where they are, what they're doing, or who they're with by someone other than a parent. That's pretty gross. Pretty weird. Why you my business, man? Sounds like a toxic relationship. Then physical threats, 10%. And now the worst of all, having explicit images of themselves shared without their consent. But 7% of like a bunch of teenagers is, I think, too much. I think it should be 0 that have their nudes shared without their consent or with their consent. How about we just don't do that? Anyways, yeah, and then this article is pretty interesting. I mean, like, pretty saddening, but it is an interesting story, and I'm glad they turned it into a story. So I brought it up. It's one of my main sources. CBS News report, Megan Hickley detail. I'll just paraphrase it. But basically, this teenage boy just killed himself. And then their parents are like, dude, what? Why? How did this happen? And it turns out he went to the school dean or principal. I think a dean's a principal. He tried to get a meeting with the principal beforehand and let him know, like, I'm being cyberbullied, help. And he didn't do anything. And then he didn't even notify the parents at all. And they only found out about all this after he already died. Oh, I made a typo, dude. Perfect. I already turned it in though. Anyways, yeah, and then combating cyberbullying. It's gonna be hard, obviously, because there are some laws like with like harassment and stuff. But yeah. Anyways, yeah, my works cited page. Then yeah, I was like, in conclusion, it's a pretty unique threat. It's not like, why do people keep robbing stores? How can we stop robbing stores? It's way different than that, because there's a lot of different things that could count as cyberbullying and stuff. And then yeah, it all boils down to just what they taught you in elementary school. Just think before you speak and stuff. What else? Some people say like, it's not even real, dude. Just turn the screen off. Just close the computer. Nah, dude, it's everywhere. Especially because a lot of these people are just kids, and they're not going to be like, I'm bigger than this, and then just turn the screen off or something. And so, and then there's some weird people who are like, nah, bullying's good. That's why I'm not weird now. I'm like, I don't know, that's kind of a weird thing to say. For me personally, like, obviously, yeah, I think it should stop. But I feel like I read about some, what do you call it, methods that they want to, like, put in schools, like, compassion classes, like, let people know, or just, like, educate more people on cyberbullying and maybe the consequences so they could, spread the word, I guess, maybe think twice about doing it. But I feel like honestly, it wouldn't work, and there's really not much we could do to stop it, other than just us ourselves trying to be directly nicer to people. Yeah, I really don't think like schools or laws are gonna, stop people. It's like the same argument. It's like, hey, let's just make crime illegal. Nobody will do, you know. Anyways, yeah, I feel like everyone knows a lot about cyberbullying already, but I mean, more awareness couldn't hurt. Anyways, yeah. Uh, this source had kind of a crazy title. That's why I just kept saying Angrove instead of "She's such a slut." The sexualized cyberbullying of teen girl. Blah blah. Yeah. Anyways, thank you.